Welcome back to Money Matters, everyone. I'm John.
And I'm Emma. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that many of us do quite often, going to the bank. But we're not just skimming the surface. We're going to have a long, detailed conversation about everything you need to know, the process, the keywords, and how to make your visits to the bank much smoother. Let's check some keywords. Bank. A financial institution that accepts deposits, provides loans, and offers various financial services. Account. A record of financial transactions, such as checking or savings accounts. Deposit. Money placed into a bank account, cash or check. Withdrawal. Taking money out of your bank account. Checkbook. A book of checks used to make payments directly from your account. ATM. Automated teller machine. A machine used to withdraw cash, deposit money, or check account balances. Loan. Money borrowed from a bank that must be paid back with interest over time. Interest. The fee charged for borrowing money or earning on savings, expressed as a percentage. Bank teller. A bank employee who helps customers with transactions and banking services. Application. The process of requesting a financial service, such as a loan or new account, often involving filling out forms. Proof of income. Documents that verify your earnings, like pay stubs or bank statements, required for loans or credit. Credit check. A review of your credit history by the bank to assess your repayment ability. Online banking. Digital platform that allows you to perform banking transactions via the internet. Security. Measures taken to protect personal and financial information when visiting the bank or online. PIN. Personal identification number. A secret code used to verify your identity at ATMs or online banking. Safe deposit box. A secure box in the bank for storing valuables.
Exactly. Because let's face it, for many people, visiting the bank can sometimes feel intimidating or confusing. But if you understand what's happening and what to expect, it can be much less stressful.
Totally agree. So let's start by talking about why people go to the bank. What are the most common reasons you think?
Well, I think for most people, it's to deposit or withdraw money, obviously. But then there are other reasons like applying for a loan, say for a house or a car, opening a new account, or maybe just speaking to a banker about their financial plans.
Right. And also, some people go to the bank for safe deposit boxes or to cash a check if they don't have enough online options in their country.
Yeah, and depending on your country, some visits also include currency exchange. But let's start with the basics. When you're preparing to go to the bank, what should you think about?
Good question. First, you want to make sure you have your ID, driver's license, passport, or another form of identification. Then, your bank card or checkbook if needed. And of course, know what you're there to do, whether it's depositing money, withdrawing cash, or inquiries.
Absolutely. Having a clear purpose helps you stay focused. Now, let's say you've arrived at the bank. You walk in. Usually, what happens next? Do you just go straight to the teller?
Not always. In many banks, especially larger ones, there's a reception desk or a security guard. You might have to check in with a receptionist, tell them what you need, and they'll direct you to a teller or a specialist.
That's true. And they might ask if you have an appointment or if you're there for a specific service, like a loan consultation. Sometimes they'll give you a ticket or you take a number.
Right, and in busy times, waiting can be longer. My advice is during peak hours, lunch breaks, or early mornings, be prepared for lines or wait times.
So when it's your turn, you approach the teller. What kind of questions or procedures happen there?
Well, initially, the teller might ask, "How can I help you today?" That's your cue to explain. For example, "I'd like to deposit this check," or "I want to withdraw cash," or "I'd like to inquire about a personal loan."
Exactly. And if you're depositing money, you'll hand over cash or checks. They'll often count it on the spot and give you a receipt.
And if you're depositing checks, they'll verify the details, the amount, and sometimes ask for identification if needed.
Now, here's a question. What about withdrawing cash? How does that process usually work?
Usually, if you have your bank card and PIN, you can go to an ATM for quick cash withdrawal. But if you prefer to do it at the counter, you can tell the teller how much you want and they'll process it. They may ask to see your ID for security reasons.
And speaking of ATMs, that's a whole other experience, more flexible, available 24/7 generally. But for larger sums or more complex transactions, visiting the bank in person is better.
Yes. Now, let's talk about applying for loans. That's a longer process, right?
Quite long. You usually start by speaking to a bank officer or banker. They'll ask about your income, expenses, how much you want to borrow, and what you plan to do with the money.
And you'll need to present documents, proof of income, bank statements, maybe security documents if applying for a mortgage, and possibly a credit report.
After that, the bank will review your application, run credit checks, and decide whether to approve the loan. Sometimes it's quick, other times it can take days or weeks.
And once they review everything, if approved, they'll inform you of the terms, interest rate, repayment schedule, and so on. It's a lot of paperwork, but understanding each step helps you feel more confident.
Definitely. Now, let's talk about another common activity, opening a new account. What do you think the process involves?
Well, first you choose the type of account, checking, savings, or both. Then you fill out an application form. The bank might require identification, proof of address, and sometimes initial deposit money.
Right. And once everything is processed, you get your account details, an ATM card, and maybe online banking access.
Speaking of online banking, do you want to mention how that's changed the way we go to the bank?
Good point. Today, many transactions can be done entirely online. Transfers, bill payments, even applying for certain financial products. This means fewer trips in person, unless you need specific services.
Exactly. But for complex services like getting a mortgage, in-person visits are still essential to build trust and have detailed conversations with bank representatives.
Absolutely. Now, on the topic of safety, what advice do you think we should give listeners about visiting banks?
Always be aware of your surroundings. Keep your valuables close. Don't share your PIN or passwords, and if anything feels suspicious, trust your instincts and seek assistance or leave if needed.
Also, be cautious with your personal information. Avoid discussing your banking details loudly in crowded places, and ensure your card or checkbook are stored securely.
And remember, if you're ever uncomfortable, you can ask to speak privately with a banker or even visit during less busy hours.
Very practical advice. Now, before we wrap up, do you want to share some quick tips for making bank visits more efficient?
Of course, first, prepare all necessary documents before you go. Second, know exactly what transaction you want to perform. Third, ask questions if anything is unclear. Bankers are there to help.
And fourth, consider using online banking when possible to save time. And finally, keep track of your bank statements regularly to monitor your finances.
Great tips, John. And with that, I think we've covered a lot about the process, the people involved, and how to navigate a bank visit confidently.
We hope this long, detailed conversation has given you a better understanding of what happens when you go to the bank, making it less intimidating and more empowering.
Absolutely. Remember, understanding banking is a big step towards managing your finances better and achieving your financial goals.
If you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment with your questions or experiences, share it with friends who might find it helpful, and subscribe for more in-depth financial discussions.
Thanks for tuning in to Money Matters. Stay smart, stay safe, and keep learning about your money.
Until next time.